With me is Jim Varghese. He is the Chancellor of the Torrens University here in Australia, also on the board of the Springfield City Group. Let's speak to him about India-Australia relationship. Sir, how do you see this relationship going forward? There have been a number of convergences between the two countries, whether it's education, whether it's the Indo-Pacific, or whether it's defense and security.
I think we're at a very unique point in the Australia-India relationship, particularly with the free trade agreement. That has really opened up a whole new vista of opportunities, ranging from education, agricultural exports, health, critical minerals, defense, a range of those areas. And also we now have an unrivaled opportunity for more Indian diaspora to expand throughout Australia, and that also helps our skills base and be able to sort of help Australia move along in terms of learning, schooling, skilling and work. So I think we're in a very exciting phase of the Australia-India relationship, and one now that is poised in a platform to get much stronger than before.
Mm-hmm. How do you see the Indian Prime Minister's visit here in Australia? How do you think that it will strengthen the relationship between the two countries?
I think the visit to Australia from the Prime Minister Modi was very important. It's given a very positive message to the Indian diaspora. He's also a charismatic Prime Minister, and I think that spreads the charisma and the view of India much more strongly. The event that was on yesterday was enthusiastic. The population of Australia, I think, is looking with interest. So you have the Indian diaspora, then you have the wider diaspora of Australia. And I think we're at a very good point. It's good that Prime Minister Albanese is holding bilateral discussions on the trade and industry side particularly. So I'm very cautiously optimistic that the relationship and the platform is now established for a strong relationship with India in all facets of the key trade, export and investment areas.
Education. You are the Chancellor of the Torrens University. How do you see education being the bedrock of this relationship? Because we know that India has opened up itself for foreign universities, and Australian universities are among the first to establish campuses.
Yes, look, I think we have always had a very good relationship with India in education very early on. We also value students from India in a range of different areas. And so we have a unique situation now in Australia where public universities and a for-profit university like Torrens, we can meet the demand for learning, skilling and training and work. We can do it both from an Australian context and an Indian context. And I think that is very exciting. So it's really now an opportunity for Australian universities, and certainly for Torrens University, we're looking at India very closely. We always do. We have an India focus. We will look at our business cases. We try and attract really enthusiastic and energetic students from India. We are a business-focused university, and we are very encouraged by where things are at. My only reservation is that I hope the visa system here works in a way that assists what we're trying to do and not the other way around. And that is a challenge for the Albanese government to work with the universities of Australia and Torrens University so we get a win-win and we improve and streamline and accelerate the education relationship. And we're certainly looking very closely at India at Torrens University. And I was a guest yesterday, for example, for Tata Consulting Services. We work with Tata in India as well. So I think we're in a very good position to consolidate and develop the relationship in education with India, with not just the Torrens Group, we are a very entrepreneurial for-profit university, but we also have the public interest and the public good in what we do.
Any plans to open campuses in India?
Well, we will certainly be looking at that. We don't rule anything out that fits in with the vision of having really good relationships between India and Australia, but one that meets two of our key domains. Student happiness is very important to us, and profitability. When you link those two domains together, and if that works well in India, then you'll see expanded activity. It certainly works well in Australia. because over 10 years ago, we started with 269 students. We're now just under 25,000 students. And I'm very hopeful that in the next couple of years, the end of the next couple of years, that number will hit 30,000.
My final question, you are a member of the Indian diaspora. We saw the diaspora event where the Prime Minister of Australia called the Indian Prime Minister a boss, something that's going to stick for a long time in the relationship. But the role the diaspora plays in making sure that this relationship is a strong relationship.
The role of the Indian diaspora is very important. Extremely important. I mean, I'm one of the founder members of the Federation of Indian Communities that started over 25 years ago. We have worked hard with AIBC and others to create a powerful diaspora. One of the challenges that I believe now that we need to do is to take up the challenge of both Prime Minister of Australia and the Prime Minister of India. And that is, we need to go for business-to-business relationships, do business deals that accelerate trade and investment. So one of the things that I wanted to foreshadow is that in that hat, I am working to establish a for-profit company who has only one purpose, to have business deals with India that makes a profit. Right? All the other relationships are important, but if we have a body like that, that could be called the Australia-India Business Proprietary Limited, a for-profit company, I think that will accelerate the trade and investment and give the Indian diaspora an opportunity not just to strengthen trade and investment with the wider Australian community, but also to make it profitable.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to WION with this lovely backdrop. And of course, it looks like that with this visit, the India-Australia relationship are going to only grow further and go upward. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely.
Video journalist Sanjeet Siddhansipal for WION in Sydney, Australia.